occurring at the end of this month, then there are a couple of good events on July 22nd and the morning of July 24th during the waning phase moon. There is also one in the Outer Banks, but its sun altitude is only -4. That's track number 134, just off the Carolina coast there. So even right on the coast, it's fairly bright. So it's the other one, the one above it, is kind of low altitude though, and that can be a problem. The one that passes down south here near Newburgh, Maryland, and over Trapp in the eastern shore near Dahlgren and Massaponax. So that's Gart's area, and then the other one is close to the cusp. But anyway, the details are there. Just go on. Next slide. Okay, this just shows for August and early September. So there's nothing very close to us that's shown on the map, but there are some fainter stars that pop up. And then there's a couple of good events, but none of these are very bright during this time frame. Just go on to the next slide. Let's go into the future. The lines are solid if it's on the dark side at night, and they're dashed lines if it's on the bright limb at night, and they're dotted lines if it's in the daytime, and just for the brightest stars for those. Then in early October, we have one event number 180 there, and that's really bright star, but a pretty bright moon too. So going over southern Maryland, and then there's an eclipse of the moon here. I want to point out this event just near St. Augustine or so, or Daytona Beach is actually closer. At 182 is right at the beginning of the lunar eclipse. But the sun is still about 70% sunlit. That is 70% of the diameter of the area of the moon is outside of the umbra, so there's a lot of scattered light, and that star is 5.7 magnitude. It's going to be hard because the graze occurs right even on the coast there. It's just starting to get into the shadow, so it's like you're right at the edge of the umbral shadow, and so the moon is quite bright. At that point, you really want to get into the shadow a bit to really get. But Hal Povenmire was interested in it. So anyway, the next this just shows events later in October. Then one of them is Beta Capricornius, nice bright star, number 226. Darn things shift with different computers, and on my computer, this says St. Mary's, Maryland. I think there's a couple of lines below that are missing. So, but you can download the thing from the website and see these predictions. But you can see them in the handbook, and there's that website that has some more detail, has path information as well. And this, that's good. So you're getting everything here. Track number 240 is Rho Sagittarius. That's a nice bright star with a 15% sunlit moon, but it's I think it's a dashed line, and it's hard to tell with the way that all the lines look dashed when most of them are solid. But that one is, I'm pretty sure it's a short distance on the bright side. Beta Capricornius is track number 241. Which I forget what the T was. It's and 240. It gives the longitude and latitude of the west end of the track, so you can use this to find where on the map is. So 130 is it's this path here. So that's a pretty nice event, although it's kind of low altitude. So that next, then Uranus, as I called it, on December 1st. But it's a fairly bright moon, so it's not going to be so easy to observe. And that's down. It's way up north. It's just up in Saskatchewan, Canada, and just a little bit to the north, and then it goes farther north. Okay, next we go in the 2015 grazes, so that's just an introduction, and I just have maps covering, just 3 maps showing, in 2015 it's interesting because we start getting occultations of Aldebaran, so that's finally coming back. So there are just a couple, these maps I told Eberhard, just show me everything that's with Aldebaran that's not in the daytime, because there are some daytime events that, oh no, this shows the daytime events too. The blue is in the daytime. You can see better now. The black is on the dark side at night, and the yellow is on the bright side at night. So you can see the paths for Aldebaran are showed with more emphasized, and then there are some other darkland events with slightly fainter stars, just a couple of them upper left, and this one, number 9 here, which is Theta Virginis. I told them to go down to 4.5 magnitude, and there aren't very many of those. There are more Aldebaran events than of the fainter ones that are under good crescent moon conditions. But this nice event here is not so nice because the moon is full. But Aldebaran's bright enough you can see it against a full moon. So, but it's not as good as when the moon is, gibbous even, or even better crescent. The very best graze is that number 4 one on September 5th, but that's up in a fairly lightly populated part of Ontario and Quebec. So you probably have to get there on a float plane. If the moon is just rising here, so you'd want to get up towards James Bay to see it really. And so unfortunately, although we have all these Aldebaran events, none of them are really, ones we would want to travel for to really try. Yeah, it's this one here. So and you can see James Bay goes over the southern end of James Bay and then up farther north. Yeah, it'd be nice. There's a railroad that goes up to Shefferville. You can go very far north from Sept-Îles in Quebec, and you can get out into that countryside. And a friend of mine at the Naval Observatory, when he worked there many years ago, he says that train, you can ask them to drop you off wherever you want, and then they'll pick you up so you can camp out there and take some bear spray or whatever. maybe an anti-aircraft gun to shoot down the mosquitoes. But anyway, then this shows events in the world. Again, just dark side down to 3rd magnitude, and the only Beta Capricorni is the only one that shows up there. And in the Aldebaran grazes. And I said here we cut out the daytime grazes of Aldebaran, and you can see there some of those missing then. You can observe grazes of Aldebaran in the daytime, but with our sensitive cameras that doesn't work so well. You have to use the less sensitive cameras, the old ones, the BC23C, or the color camera. Get a color camera, and that'll show you see the blue sky and the orange star, so that will look kind of pretty. Anyway, so then next I just have a couple more showing what's happening in other parts of the world, showing Europe and Australia. And in Europe, you see the Aldebaran grazes. There are some when you pick up the daytime events and things. You can see the daytime events over Norway there, but I didn't take the time to tell what the numbers correspond to with these last couple of ones. It was getting late last night, and I did want to get a couple of hours of sleep. Anyway, but the information is, we'll post these on that Graze Maps website. I think we'll put this preliminary data there. Steve Conard sets that up. I sent him the files and the webpage. So we'll try to get these up on that. It'll have the proper information, including the list of data. There's these files that also have data in the path at 1 degree intervals. And you can, with the occult program, once you see something on these maps, you can go to occult and calculate it in fine detail. You can get the profiles, and you can get an HTM file, and then you can zoom in. Because the HTM file you can use, you just put that in your browser, and it will go you to Google Maps and superimpose the path on the map. Brad does that on his website, but you can do it with just those files yourself. And this shows Western Australia, Eastern Australia, just a few events there. And Aldebaran doesn't get down that far south. I looked at Aldebaran during the rest of its whole series, and there are only a couple of events that are really, good crescent moon, dark moon grazes in the U.S., and they both occur in 2017. There's one in March 2017, and I think July or something. So that's what we have to look forward to. The one in March, as I remember, it goes approximately from Minnesota to Maine, and I don't remember, the other one is out west somewhere, or in the Rockies or something. Yeah, that was the one, the full moon one. That was. Well, that one's in November, right, and but that's November next year. Yeah, yeah. So you might go back to that if you can go back to because that's
how far back?
About 4.
10, 15?
Oh, wait, no, only 3 or 4. That's the one there, right. And I do mention, I just noted in the predictions that there's a graze that goes right over Greenbelt with a 5th magnitude star on April 23rd next year. It's sort of the best one, I think, in this area, but the sun is only 5 degrees down. You can observe it, and it'll be okay, but it'll be a little bit nicer if you go to the coast and observe it there. So it goes towards Ocean City. So that's now you can see this yellow path that goes across. That's the one. It's number 8. Yeah, it's number 8. So it's November 26th. It's I think that's Thanksgiving, or somewhere close to that. and then. But the others are all in the daytime, except for that one that's in Canada. That's the yellow one. That's the full moon one that extends from the Northern California border with Oregon and sweeps across to South Carolina, northern South Myrtle Beach. It looks like it's hitting something like that. Yes, you can. He's asking, is there anything we can do with high-speed cameras with total occultations of Aldebaran? And certainly, you can get a lot of points across the star in the diameter of the star. It's much larger than the diffraction effects, and so that's what you're getting. And if you can get them at different position angles, you might be able to start getting ellipticity of the star and maybe even star spots or something. So. Okay, what is he said for David? Is there science in getting the gradual extinction of Aldebaran? Is that pretty well worked out? Now, the diameter of Aldebaran is quite well known and measured from previous occultations and from other techniques now. So. So we just sort of confirm that. As I say, it was very exciting to me when 20 years ago or 50 years ago when I saw this drop coming out, and I said, well, "Wow, I saw the diameter of that star." It took about a second when that wasn't a. I was pretty close to the grace path in typical total occultation. It's 0.03 of a second of arc is the angular diameter. So that usually goes by in 1/10 of a second or two. Yeah. So Okay, I think that takes care of that, and we can, I think, go to the next one is for the asteroid events. What? Oh,